Thursday, Kotter takes a part-time job and gets roasted by the Sweathog.
When I'm sick, my mother puts you in soup.
Then Roger trades his school books for joke books. It's What's Happening right after Welcome Back, Kotter.
Tomorrow starting at 8 on ABC.
Aha! Sugar is lurking in unsuspecting snacks. Dried fruits, sugary cereals, peanut butter, breath mints, cough drops. Become a sugar detective. Inspect labels for large quantities of dextrose, sucrose, fructose, corn syrup, honey, and sugar. Remember, sugary snacks are harmful to dental health. Be a super-duper sugar snooper. Read food labels carefully. A public service message from the American Dental Association.
When Gabe disobeys Mr. Woodman, he gets suspended from school on Welcome Back, Kotter. Tonight at 5 here on 56.
This ain't easy for me, you know. I never opened the book before.
Sweathogs ain't a club. It's a state of mind.
Be part of the Sweathog fun on Welcome Back, Kotter. Tonight at 5 on Channel 56.
From all of us to all of you, in your ear with some holiday cheer.
And a Happy New Year.
Sitcom, are ye faithful? A Christmas podcast special where again I discuss 25 Christmas sitcom episodes. Please come and listen every day until Christmas. I'm sure we'll feature Balky, Gilligan, and Young Webster, Rose Nyland, Eric Foreman, and definitely Mork. We'll definitely talk about Mork.
Hi, I'm Gabe Kaplan, wishing you all the best this holiday season from everybody on Welcome Back, Kotter.
Welcome back. Your dreams were your ticket out. Welcome back to that same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they turn around. Who'd have thought they'd lead ya?
You think I wasn't going to sing along?
Back here where we need ya. Yeah, we tease him a lot, cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back, everybody, to day 14 of Sitcom, Are Ye Faithful? A Christmas. Oh, I'm not going to sing the whole song. And today I am here talking about Season 3, Episode 15 of Welcome Back, Kotter, a Sweathog Christmas special. This aired originally on December 15th, 1977. I was about a year and a few months old, and I remember sitting down with my family and watching this. I don't actually. Welcome Back, Kotter, to me, is another one of those shows that makes me think of my childhood, but not because I grew up watching, I remember watching it every week. It's because, for me, it was one of those shows that I knew about from syndication. Like this show, before it was obviously this I'm alive during this, but I'm not at television watching age yet, or maybe I was. I just don't remember. Maybe my parents just put me in front of the TV, and then went in the other room and played 45s with their friends. That is a very, very local joke. I'm going to go on a tangent. I wasn't expecting this, but 45s is a card game that I don't even know if people outside of the area I live in play it. Like, if I went to Boston and I said, "Do you play 45s?" I don't know if people would know what it is. I live in a place called the Merrimack Valley of Massachusetts. So all the towns in the area are in the Merrimack Valley. And 45s is a huge game that there's tournaments. When you get together to play cards with people, you didn't really play poker. I think you played 45s. And here's the best part of it. I don't know how to play 45s. I am 46 years old. I have lived in Massachusetts for 45 of those years, and for all 45 of those lives. And even better, I have been taught 45s at least 3 times. A couple times by friends, at least once by my grandfather. I think he just gave up. And I have no idea how to play it. Like, it's okay. You play poker. To me, poker makes sense. 3 is worth more than 2. 4 is more than 3. You want to get pairs. You want to get the higher cards together. You want to get some in a row. You want to get some in the same suit. That all makes sense. 45s, it's like, all right, what suit are we playing? Okay, Jack, 5. All I know is Jack and 5, and then things are in order. I don't understand. Jack is the high card. Why? Who the hell's Jack? I don't know. Anyway, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, there's a reason. There's a reason I'm talking about 45s. I'm going off on a tangent. I'm almost doing a clip show of the past of my life because when all is said and done, this episode was a big disappointment. I should say it was a big disappointment in the realm of Christmas sitcom episodes. It was fun to see. It was enjoyable to watch, but it was one of those cop-out episodes. Yes, a Sweathog Christmas special was a clip episode. So there's not much I'm going to be talking about in the realm of Christmas. It's a clip episode talking about old episodes in the midst of Christmas going on around them. So I was talking, if you don't know Welcome Back, Kotter, it was a staple of, daily syndicated television in my home growing up. And we had Freddie Boom Boom Washington, Juan Epstein, Arnold Horshack, and of course, the great Vinnie Barbarino. Who, where, when? Put it this way. To this day, in 2022, I still use that joke with my wife. When she asks me something, I go, what? Who? Where? And honestly, I haven't been doing it for the past 30 years. I only started doing it probably the last 5 years, just doing it. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because it's funny. So if you don't know Welcome Back, Kotter, I mean, just, I can't say go watch it now because I had to buy this episode. I went on YouTube and I couldn't find it anywhere. I spent $1.99. Now I had Google credit, so I didn't actually spend any money. But I bought this episode thinking, you know what? Maybe it's a fun episode that I'll rewatch. No, I won't. I will not do it. But if you don't know Welcome Back, Kotter, it's about a guy who comes back to teach at the high school that he went to as a kid. And he teaches these remedial students who are like, I guess they're troublemakers or they're not great in class. And they call themselves the Sweathogs. And the hilarity ensues. And they're so close that they spend Christmas Eve together with the vice principal Woodman. At least that's what happened in this episode. Gabe Kaplan is a stand-up comedian and actor. Right now, he's like a professional poker player, I think. His wife, Marcia Strassman, no longer with us. Mr. Woodman, John Sylvester White, no longer with us. Those 3 names were the credited names, like 1, 2, 3. And then also starring the Sweathogs. John Sylvester White, I really only know him as Mr. Woodman. But Marcia Strassman, not only do I know her from Welcome Back, Kotter, but she is the mom in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and in Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. And maybe some other things with kids blowing up or growing or shrinking, I don't remember. But unfortunately, she passed away in 2014. Now, the Sweathogs, they were, to me, the coolest, funniest kids growing up. And I say kids lightly because they look like they're at least in their 30s when this show happened. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs as Freddie Boom Boom Washington. Hi there. And he is so good in these clips where he like, hey, Mr. Kotter, and then hi there, bye there, when he runs away from bullies or from a gang. He's really known mostly for this show, but then I also think of him as he played Michael Jackson's dad in the Jacksons miniseries, the tell-all miniseries about the Jacksons. Then there's Robert Hayes, the great one, Epstein. He'd always have I have a note from my mother, where he would show Mr. Kotter that he's late for class or he needs to be excused, and it always would say, sign Juan's mother. Robert Hayes, no longer with us. He passed away in 2012. And then, of course, Arnold Horshack. Ooh, 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 ooh. Arnold Horshack, played by the incomparable Ron Palillo, or Palillo. I think it's Palillo. And he's best known, of course, for Arnold Horshack. And for horror movie fans out there, he's best known for he's also best known for in Friday the 13th, Part 6, Jason Lives. He's at the beginning with young Tommy Jarvis, and he gets his heart punched out of his chest by Jason Voorhees himself. And then, of course, the lead Sweathog. He was the lead star then. He is the biggest star to come out of this, Mr. John Travolta. This is right in the tail beginning of him being a superstar. He's Vinnie Barbarino, Barbarino, up your nose with a rubber hose. Like they all had sayings. But then, while this is going on, he's on the show. Then he gets Saturday Night Fever. Then he gets Grease, and it's like boom, off to the races for a while. Then he's like doing look what's talking to me now, and then he gets Pulp Fiction, and boom, off to the races again. So this is still like really old Travolta. I think this is post Boy in the Bubble, but definitely right at the time of Grease and Saturday Night Fever. So he only I think he was barely in the final season. They brought in another guy. They brought in a guy that you feel like it should have been Ted McGinley, but it wasn't. But the show was done. That was the final season of the show, and it only lasted 4 years, which makes sense because they're in high school. I guess they were supposed to be 30-year-old freshmen and 35-year-old seniors. And the premise, the show had a structure where it would always open with Gabe and his wife in their apartment, and he'd be like, "Yeah, did I ever tell you about my uncle Jimmy?" Or in this one, he's talking about one of his uncles, and he got the best hearing aid ever, and he was telling my other uncle, "Oh, this is the best hearing aid ever." He goes, "Oh, really? What kind is it?" He goes, "Oh, it's 7:30. Ha ha ha! Get it? He can't hear." Like it was just real like vaudeville Catskills type humor, but it was funny too. Like just the way his delivery was funny. So he tells the joke. We get the great theme song by John Sebastian, one of the most sing-along, sing-song, listenable theme songs that became a hit. And I thought, well, of course this was a hit. It's a hit song. And then they used it for the show. No, I was wrong. I thought, wow, it really fits. Welcome back, perfect. This was written for the show, but it's such a song on its own. Like, it's such a good song on its own, but it was definitely written for Welcome Back, Kotter. And I say Kotter, and I use that all the time. I forget there's something else where I always say, instead of Carter, I always say Kotter. Because of Freddie Boom Boom Washington, really. But the episode is just them hanging out at their house. Then the Sweathogs show up. They just show up. They're pulling Freddie Boom Boom Washington dressed up as Santa on a desk because he's from school, so that's his sleigh. The two reindeer are Horshack and Barbarino, and Juan Epstein's there as well. Epstein's just there. I don't think maybe he was like one of the, maybe he was another reindeer. I don't remember. But they get there to just kind of hang out with the Kotters and Gabe. And I knew it was going to be a problem when Gabe said, "You know what, guys? I realize after all these years, we've really grown really close." And he just kind of looks off in the distance, and then we get clips. A lot of clips featuring Charles Fleischer, the voice of Roger Rabbit, Back to the Future 2, Zodiac. He plays Carvelli, and they always seem to have a run-in with Carvelli and Carvelli's gang of guys, to the point where we see them almost getting a gang fight with Horshack, Mr. Kotter, and Woodman, all dressed like greasers, like T-Birds almost, which is funny because I wonder if that was before Grease, because they really are dressed like T-Birds. which was pretty funny. They're there to fight. Then we see another, almost fight them later, like with Horshack and Covelli. We get clips of a food fight with Mr. and Mrs. Kotter while Vinnie Barbarino's there, because apparently these kids always hang out with the Kotters. And what else do we get? We get Epstein, who got in a fight, and he was afraid to show his shiner. He was embarrassed. Freddie Boom Boom Washington was afraid of gangs, getting in a gang fight because he was hooking up with a girl on their turf. And Epstein got beat up. Horshack almost got beat up. It was really a lot of people almost getting beat up. And then the last shot was like, remember when we had that sit-in? And they go back and they're talking about God and stuff. And it was cool to see these clips. But as a Christmas episode, I felt that I was I was short-sighted, or slighted, maybe that's the word. So that was unfortunate. Unfortunate because this really wasn't much of a Christmas story. But then after, so that's why this episode's pretty short. But after Mr. Kotter, they exchange gifts. And, Barbarino at one point is like, man, we had to bring this disc all the way up all these flights. I don't know how those reindeers do it. I don't want to be a reindeer anymore. I want to be Santa. And Freddie Boom Boom's like, well, you can be Santa. Just remember, when you go by my house, not everybody likes a white Christmas. And so there is some Christmas stuff, some Christmas jokes. And Mr. Woodman shows up dressed up as Santa. And I forget, Mr. Kotter made a funny joke. You look more like an elf, I think Barbarino said. We had clips with Mr. Woodman. Then they're all at the end of the episode, after the last clip, when they all had a memory together, which is another reason why Community was such a great show. They did a whole episode that was a clip episode looking back at things that never happened. It was amazing. I'm looking at the first one going, wait, did I miss an episode? Nope. These are all clips. These are all things that never happened. And they made it look like they happened. They had full episode. It was so great. I think that's where 6 seasons in a movie came from, too. If you've never watched Community, shame on you. So they finished the last flashback, and they gave out gifts, and then Mr. Carter's like, hey, you guys want to hear a story? Whoa, Mr. Kotter, we got to go, because he was going to tell another story about another uncle or something. And they all leave, and, leave him and his wife alone. I thought maybe you'd hear the babies, because they had babies at this point. You hear the babies crying. He's like, oh, we're finally alone. Let me tell you a story. She's like, oh, I hear the kids. I got to go. And she leaves. So he falls asleep out on the couch himself. It goes to commercial. It comes back. The final moments are him waking up, going to get a snack in the middle of the night, and seeing a big fat Santa Claus sitting at his kitchen table. And he's like, oh, Santa, how you doing? Let me tell you a story about my uncle. He starts to talk about it, and then Santa Claus is like, ho, ho, no. I don't know if he said that. He didn't say that. And Santa Claus just looks at him and disappears, like fades away. And Gabe Kaplan's eyes, Mr. Kotter's eyes go, oh, what? And then it ended. And that is the ending of a Sweathog Christmas special. It really was. The title should have given it away. This wasn't just a regular episode. It was just a Sweathog Christmas special. The one running joke that I didn't remember was Mr. Carter's wife apparently loves to make tuna casserole, and it's horrible. At one point, they talked about prunes. At one point, they talked about coffee beans being in there. And then even when they were in the sit-in, she goes, hey, she mentioned a joke about her tuna casserole. So it must be an on-running joke about how bad Julie Cotter's tuna casserole is. And I think I'm done, I mean, there's only so much to talk about when there's really 5 minutes of Christmas stuff, and the rest is just flashbacks to old seasons and old episodes. Enjoyable, but I wish I picked a different episode. And maybe if I didn't pay for it, I would have stopped and looked for another Christmas episode with Welcome Back, Welcome Back Kotter. But since I'd already paid for this episode of Welcome Back Kotter, my mind was made up. I was watching it. It still counts. It's still a Christmas episode. It's just a flimsy kind of it's like a hot air balloon where the balloon is the Christmas part, but the hot air inside has nothing to do with Christmas. What an amazing metaphor. And with that, my friends, I'm going to leave you until tomorrow when we do this all over again. So listen, you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Geek Mentality. The website is fansnotexperts.com. The Facebook page is Fans Not Experts. This podcast is called Geek Mentality as well. But you know that already because you are subscribed along with all your friends. But if you have that one friend, that one lonely, nerdy prick of a friend, and he doesn't listen to this podcast, go to his house. I'll wait. Pause it. Okay, and we're back. Are you at his house? Good. Knock on the door. Put the earbud. Take it out of your ear. Put it in his ear. Okay, wait. Hey, Jimmy? Listen, do you like podcasts? Well, go subscribe to Geek Mentality right now. And the guy or girl who just answered the door, because I'm not sure who actually did it, they will give you $100 if you just go listen to Geek Mentality now, available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And looking back years later, it's going to be funny to see this is how Jimmy became my biggest fan. Until tomorrow, everybody, thanks again for listening and subscribing. And here is my theme song. This is my podcast. I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe. 'Cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.